I will say, though, this will be odd for me because this is A, the first time I'm doing something like this without cans, and B, as the guest.
You've never been a guest before?
I haven't been a guest, and maybe I've been a guest years ago, but not for a podcast. Wow. I've never been a podcast guest.
All right, then.
I've always been inviting people onto podcasts or internet radio shows that I do.
This is kind of nice then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice. Okay, I was on The Edge.
Yeah.
Like maybe a year or two ago with Gavin.
Yeah.
On Fearless Fred's show.
He's a super nerd.
Oh, Fred? Oh my God, yeah. Super nerd.
Yeah.
And
I know Fred. He's a good guy.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Beaming from Pacific Junction Hotel to Earth. Girth.
Introduce yourselves to the nice people at home.
All right. Hello, my name is Andrew Young. I am the host and producer of Geek Hard, which is a weekly live streaming internet radio show on realityradio101.com at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's also available as a podcast on geekhardshow.com and on iTunes, where we talk about geek stuff and we interview people who are geeky.
All right. First question off the bat, an easy one. What's the difference between a geek and a nerd? Why did you guys go with geek instead of nerd?
Really, I went with Geek Hard because it just sounded better. Like, that's really what it comes down to. The geek, nerd, they've all kind of become, intermingled labels now. Now, of course, the original idea is that nerd had to do with intellect, whereas geek was supposed to be about, like, hardcore fandom, right?
And lack of social skills.
Yeah. But these, both had the connection of lack of social skills. But, like, these days, it's like you can be a nerd, you can be a geek, you can be a nerd about something and a geek about something. I guess nerd is supposed to be, like, your knowledge of something, whereas geek is your passion for something. So you can be both a nerd and a geek, in my opinion.
All right. That's kind of nice. You're very inclusive.
I am.
You're like a nerdy MLK.
Yes.
Bringing all the nerds and the geeks together.
That's exactly it. Yes. We're going to have a big rally. It's going to be fantastic.
Charles Xavier, but with like legs and walking.
Yeah, and I still have my hair, thank God.
Yeah. See? We're off to a good start already.
Yes.
When you start Geek Hard?
Okay, well, Geek Hard started in 2010. But what happened was in 2009, I was unemployed. I had lost my apartment. I had lost my fiancée.
This is a dark period.
Yeah, it's a very dark period.
This is Frank Miller dark now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had lost my fiancée. I had lost my job, all that sort of stuff. And so, like, I had spent, before I'd lost the apartment, I'd spent maybe about 6 months in Toronto, just every weekend, go to the movies, hanging out in comic shops, just trying to avoid the fact that my life was falling apart by just diving into this sort of stuff. I eventually had to move back home with the folks. And during that time, I found out that in my area, there was a guy who had started up an internet radio station, and he was looking for what I thought was guests to come on a show. And so I contacted him, and he was like, oh, no, I'm not looking for guests. I'm looking for people to pitch a show. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, any type of show that you think would be good on the station. And so I said, okay, I'll get back to you. And then about a month went by, I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, we could do like a geek entertainment radio sort of thing. Like, I was a big fan of Attack of the Show at the time. And, there was stuff like Dig Nation and things like that. And I was like, we could do something like that, where it's kind of like we talk about geek news and we interview people and stuff. And so I approached the station with that, and they thought I had given up because it'd take me a month. And
you're working through depression. You don't have time for
exactly. And so they were like, okay, that sounds like a really cool show. We don't have any entertainment information shows, because they were just looking at it as like, oh, you're going to talk about movies.
Yeah.
So not necessarily looking at the geek stuff at first, but they were cool with it. And so then I contacted a few people I knew who had done podcasts or, who I knew were funny. And originally the idea was it was going to be me and a rotating cast of co-hosts. Like, they were like one a month, like, so each week there'd be a different guy for 4 weeks. But the first guy I wanted said no, and then the second guy was like really hardcore into it. His name's James Green, Mr. Green, who is now the co-host of Geek Hard. And I was like, well, the first guy said no, and this guy really, really is into doing it. So he seems passionate about it. So I scrapped the idea of having a rotating, yes. And it's good because with the fourth guy I had picked on the list, we had ended up having him as a guest at one point, and he wasn't that good. So,
so
it's kind of good that I didn't go with that original plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was then let's go even back further then. What was the kind of like the spark, or what got you into all this like nerdery? What was it, a comic book? Was it an action figure?
Well, I guess because you got to think about it. Like, we grew up in the 80s, right?
Golden era.
Exactly. It's the golden era of everything nerdy, because you had all the great because deregulation happened, so you could start, so cartoons could start selling shit to kids.
Yeah.
And so suddenly we got all these really cool things like G.I. Joe and Transformers and stuff like that. And that kind of, I think it was the cartoons that got me into it first. And then when I'm finding out that they had comic books, like there was G.I. Joe comic books through Marvel, and then that kind of led to me checking out the DC and Marvel characters. And yeah, by the late 80s, I was probably hooked into all that kind of stuff.
Thundercats?
Thundercats was okay. I was never a huge Thundercats or He-Man guy. I have friends who are hardcore Thundercats and He-Man fans.
I have a He-Man friend in my life,
Yeah, and yeah, I don't think I don't know. He-Man fans have an extra level of passion that I don't think I can reach.
It's that by the power of Grayskull.
That's right, exactly. So
yeah, and so it was kind of G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe was the main thing. G.I. Joe was probably the gateway drug to geekdom for me. Yes, because I love the cartoon. I love Shipwreck. I loved Alpine.
Shipwreck is tight.
Shipwreck was great. And it's like years later I find out, I was like, oh, okay, so the entire character of Shipwreck on G.I. Joe was basically based off of Jack Nicholson's performance in The Last Detail. Okay, sure.
Well, it's because by that point, they're just like, because there's, I don't know how many Joes, so they're just cranking them out at that point.
Yeah, so they're like, let's make this guy Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And then he ended up being like, I think out of all the characters, I think he had the most focus in the first season. Like, because there was 75 episodes in the first season, and I think he was like the star of 40 of them. So...
Well, because Snowjob's not going to hold down the fort.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And Snake Eyes can't talk, so...
Yeah.
Whereas Snake Eyes was the star of the comic book.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess the TV guys just couldn't wrap their head around, okay, he doesn't talk. I think they put him in like 7 episodes total.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just always just for like a little bit of like swordplay and ninja, and then it's like, well, then now we've used them. Now
it's like Storm Shadow just got Excalibur. I guess we'll have Snake Eyes fight him. You know, it's like...
And yet that idea is amazing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, totally. Whereas in the comics, like last year, actually no, it's 2 years ago now, I got to talk with Larry Hama. And his like the crown jewel of his G.I. Joe run, in his opinion, is issue 21, The Silent Store, which is basically where, you know, there's no text, there's no dialogue, it's just pictures. Whereas the entire thing is told visually. And he drew it, and so basically he wrote and drew it at the same time. And like, that's considered the quintessential G.I. Joe. That's the holy grail of G.I. Joe comics. Yeah. And yeah, there's not a word. Everybody's Snake Eyes in that issue because nobody talks.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that Snake Eyes is the star of the issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you talk to people like that, we're kind of going full circle back to Geek Hard now. When you talk to people like that, do you find that they're kind of aware of their legacy? Because like Larry's just doing this G.I. Joe thing and it's in the corner, and obviously it blew up huge.
Yeah.
Right? And he made a ton of money. And the Ninja Turtles are the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Right? Like, we're just going to throw this thing away, and then whatever happens, happens. And it's like,
yeah, I know. Like Eastman and Laird, they probably had no idea. They just wanted to do a tribute to Daredevil using turtles.
Right. Oh, okay, fine. We'll be millionaires then.
Yeah. No, totally. It's like some of these guys, well, like a lot of these guys, they scoff at when you call them a legend and stuff like that, but they know their contributions. Like, well, I've talked to Larry Hama, I've talked to Chris Claremont, and like those guys know. Yeah, they've got a certain level of status, you know, and with that comes, you know, perks and, of course, some criticism and things like that. But yeah, no, like, I think for the most part, comic creators are down to earth, even though they have, you know, some of them have legendary careers. For the most part. Again, like, I haven't talked to, like, certain guys like Rob Liefeld or anything like that. Those guys probably love themselves. So, you know.
Every story you hear about that guy is just more crazy than the last one.
Exactly. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to that guy when he was in Toronto. No.
Yeah, he was just here for the Fan Expo about a month ago.
Yeah, at the Toronto Comic Con. He was the big star comic creator, and I was like, I got no interest in him. Jim Shooter's here. I'm gonna talk to Jim Shooter.
Yeah.
So.
How was Jim?
Jim was awesome. Yeah, we're going to be putting up the interview of that. We did a video interview. We're going to put that up in like a month on our YouTube channel and our website. He's fantastic. And like I asked him questions about like when he was editing about the Dark Phoenix saga and stuff like that. And he wanted to put some rumors to rest. So yeah, no, he was great. He was great to talk to.
And it's funny because just a little while ago I was reading Secret Wars again.
Yeah.
It's like 2015, 2016 and we're still reading Secret Wars.
Well, look, even Marvel is obsessed with Secret Wars still. Just last year they did another one, right? So.
And that's the thing. It just keeps coming. Like they're doing Civil War again.
Civil War again. They did Contest of Champions again recently. It's sort of like, I feel the problem with comics right now is that they rely too much on event books. Like the big two. Like, I mean, Marvel and DC, they basically set everything up for the next event book. It's like originally it was like a yearly thing. Now at Marvel, it's a quarterly thing. It's like every 3 months they got a new big event. And I think that's hurting the industry. Like it's good that there's places like Image where it's people are just telling really good stories.
Yeah.
You know, like we've talked about it before, like the Fade Out was fantastic.
Yeah, at Brubaker. We actually should go back and listen to that podcast because you and I and Gavin Stevens, your co-host, we all had kind of little bets on who was the killer.
That's right, yeah, on the podcast Back Issue Bloodbath, which is available through geekhardshow.com as well. Yeah, your one I remember being very I was like, really? Because you were guessing that it was one guy's wife. That was like, she's just like a secondary character. And I was like, the thing that was really funny is that it ended up being the most obvious choice.
Yeah.
But it still was a great story.
Right.
Because it was trying to be a tribute to the old, noir type tales like that. But some of the theories we came up with were really out there, yeah.
I stand by everything I said.
Yeah.
To the end.
To the end, eh?
Yeah, let the records show. Let the podcast show. I stand by it.
Okay, all right, man. That's cool.
So, yeah, we should get Brubaker in one time and then just
Yeah, the key is to get him when he's drinking. Because that's the only time I've gotten an interview with him is it was at the Toronto Comic Arts Festival. He was a guest. He had just finished a panel at a bar. He had a few. Yeah. I grabbed him like, hey, you want to do a video interview? And he doesn't like doing video interviews anymore ever since he got his teeth fixed. Yeah. Because he feels that he looks kind of different. And I was like, okay. But he was drunk enough that he was willing to do it.
The system works.
Yeah, he was great too because we had to do the interview on the stairs of the place, and so there was people passing to go up to the patio, and so he'd always grab the people and ask them, "What's your favorite song from the '70s?" and stuff like that, and pass the mic to them. It was very funny.
That's cool. But I mean, we're in a bar here in the Pacific Junction Hotel bar, so we should.
We just got to invite Ed Brubaker here when he's in Toronto. Yeah.
Since he's your buddy now. Well.
I don't know about that. It's not like he gave me his contact info. It was like, hey, dude who hijacked me in a bar. Here's all my contact info.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I guess as Geek Hard was kind of happening, you also kind of branched out into filmmaking, stand-up comedy.
Yeah, well, that's something I did stand-up comedy all the way back. I think I started in 1999. That's the first time I did stand-up. And originally when I started, I was an impressionist. I did a lot of impressions, celebrity impressions. And that kind of over the 2 years kind of phased out of my act because I found out that comedians hate impressionists. So... for the most part, they do not like impressionists. Yeah. And so, so I switched up my act, and for a number of years, I was doing stand-up and with a bit of a geeky vibe. I had a number of jokes that worked in, my interests, of course. And during that time, I then started making short films with my company, Social Retard Productions, which is now SRP Films, because enough people complained. And so it's the short films, I got a couple of films shown nationally on television, and the stand-up opened up a few doors. I got to work with different people. I got to work with Ed the Sock and things like that. So
I worked with Ed the Sock too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I helped put out a comic book for him.
Oh, you were one of the people involved in the comic, eh?
Yeah, with Ho Chi Anderson did the cover, and a whole bunch of other people were inside. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, and I got to be on the show too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
man.
I was a roaming reporter.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I got involved with them after the original show finished when they went to CHCH and did This Movie Sucks, which was basically an Ed Sock version of Mystery Science 3000. Yeah. And so we just took really shitty movies. I was one of the writers on the show, but they just kept working me into episodes where it's they just do stupid things to me. They're like, oh, there's an episode this week where there's a guy with a hump on his back, so we want you to walk around in the background with a hump on your back and things like that. Or we want you.
You're the hump guy?
Yeah. And so it was a weird experience. It was 11 months where we shot 12 episodes throughout various weekends and things like that, and it was fun. It was a lot of work, and it was very weird.
Yeah, there's I don't even know what the word is. Low rent or low quality, kind of just the way that they shoot it too.
It was very homegrown. It was a run and gun. Yeah. In fact, I remember there was one point where we were like, okay, we want to do something where Ed is racing, in a car. So it was just myself and Steve Kersner and Ron Sparks went out on the street with a camera, and we had Ed in this remote control car, and we drove him all through the streets of Hamilton. He almost got hit by big cars. It was fun. It was fun.
Can't lose the sock, man.
Yeah.
That's the moneymaker. That's our Canadian celebrity right after George.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you like kind of moving between these worlds, like making some films, doing some writing for TV, kind of being the hump guy?
I don't ever want to be the hump guy again, but it's a lot of fun doing different projects like that. And although there are times that I sit there going, man, if I just did one thing, it'd be so much easier, you know. But
isn't that the thing? Like, you get known for your one thing, right? Like, if you branch out, you establish.
Not these days, though. These days, you have to do like 5 or 6 things to break through. There's like, I know a number of guys who are like that, who are just sort of like, okay, well, I have an opportunity to do this, I'm going to do it. And it's sort of like, that's the other thing as well. It's like, if you're given an opportunity to do something, you might as well do it, because if you don't, you're just going to be like, oh man, I could have done this. Like, I look back at things when in my 20s that I had opportunities to be involved in certain projects, sketch troops, things like that. And I just, I walked away from them. And now I look back and I go, oh, those people did really well. I should have stayed involved with that. So now it's like, I don't really say no to anything.
Yeah.
Unless I get a really weird vibe. Mm-hmm. Like possibly like a podcast in a hotel restaurant, something like that.
Oh, yeah. I could see where I could see how that would be awkward, yeah.
No, just kidding. Yeah. This is great. I have a free beverage. Being treated like a king today. It's great.
Oh, look at that. I'm not going to rub your feet, though. I know.
You should have waited till after the podcast to tell me that.
See, this is why...
Now I'm a hostile guest.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm learning now. It's just going to be all like tension. Tension's good, though, right?
Yes.
What have you learned then as you've kind of been doing the podcast and kind of doing the interviews and stuff?
Well, the thing that's really cool is that, like, if it was just a podcast, like, that would be cool in itself, but we do it as a live streaming radio show, so, there's no editing, there's people who can call in at any time, like, we have numbers where people can call, we've dealt with it. It's always fun to deal with things on the fly, and I think I've learned very well how to deal with changing variables, because there's no chance to stop. Sort of thing. It's like, once we start, we're on until the end of the hour. Yeah. And there's been a number of times like mics have died. We've lost guests on the phone.
Yeah.
Drunk people have called in, different things like that. And I've had to learn how to handle all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I think for me, I've really learned how to keep a show going. Like, keep the momentum of something and try to keep interest. I've learned how to gauge that from dealing with guests and things like that. So
how do you balance between like all the reading and stuff that you have to do, quote unquote, you have to do for this, versus just like regular fun reading? It's almost like going back to school, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Like there are times that we have guests that are booked that are authors, and the publishing company will send us the book, and I know my co-host won't be able to get through all of it in time, so I'll opt to do the book. He'll eventually read it, but it'll only be it'll probably usually be after we do the interview.
Oh, that's what he's talking about.
But yeah, I hate it when it's like a really, really big book and we've got like the guest is on in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, okay. So I can't read anything else but this 3,000 page book until then. But like there's been cool times where I've been sent like comics that haven't come out yet or things like that, and it's like that's always neat to me. It's always great to it's like, oh, I'm on the inside track.
Yeah.
So
do you want me to tell you who the spoilers and tell you who the killer is?
Yeah.
I know.
So.
It's cool because when you are on the inside track, but it's also kind of hard too. Like when you see a movie in advance or like read a comic book that hasn't come out to the public yet, because you want to talk about it.
Right? Yeah. No. Well, like case in point, last week we had Kyle Stevens of Kirby Crackle, which I don't know if you've heard of Kirby Crackle. Mm-hmm. They're a huge nerd band from Seattle. We've interviewed Kyle a few times. He's come down to Toronto and done a bunch of phone interviews with him and stuff like that. And so like we've got a pretty good relationship with. Last summer he was here for Fan Expo as part of Sean Hatton's Nerd Noise Night that he does. He said to us, he's like, hey, I got a thing coming up. Keep it under your hats. Right now we're calling it Project Burrito. We're going to be having a few songs played on the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. He's like, but keep that under your hat. And I'm like, okay. And I thought it was only going to be a couple of months till it happened. But it ended up not being until like a few weeks ago this year.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So I couldn't say anything about this. And then finally when her job was like, oh, thank God, finally. Yeah, the weight has been lifted. 8 months of me sitting around going, I can't say what Project Burrito is.
We should not get like a couple of drinks in you in the bar then. And then
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let me tell you about Project Burrito.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you kind of like, you talk about like being in the know, getting to hang out with these cool creators and stuff like that. Is there any part of this industry or kind of aspect of this, of running Geek Hard that you kind of don't like, or? You even talk about like the drunk people calling in and like.
Well, the drunk people, actually, the drunk people haven't been that bad. It's not like we got a huge amount of them. The funny thing is, like, I wish more people would call in. Because the way we do our show, I think there's a lot of people who listen to live stream and either A, think it's a pre-recorded podcast that they're just listening to live, or like they're just listening to streaming, or, you know, they don't want to interrupt our flow because we're not talk radio, so to speak. We're more like, we do reviews, we do interviews and things like that. We don't do like, this is our topic for the week, call in and stuff like that. So, whereas there's other shows on Reality Radio 101 that are like that. Yeah, I wish there was more fan interaction. Like, I know that people are listening. Like, I see the numbers and like people have come up to me at different events and say, hey, I listened to the show or I listened to the podcast. And it's great, but I wish there was, the thing that bothers me is that sometimes it feels like you're just throwing something out into the abyss. For me, that's really hard because, you know, as we mentioned, I did stand-up for years, and you get instant, you know what works and what doesn't automatically with that. Whereas,
take that joke and go home.
Exactly. Whereas with this, it took probably a couple of years to find the proper flow, just based on finally seeing, okay, wow, we're getting more numbers now. We should keep this kind of flow to it. And so, yeah, I think that's, for me, it's probably more the learning curve. It was probably the worst part of Geek Hard.
Do you find because we talked about the stereotypes and stuff, do you find that the online nerd community is cynical? Does that stereotype hold up, or do you find, is it even a bad word, or?
I think that the online community, there's a portion of fandom that is overly cynical, that is just looking there. Like, there are trolls within the group, you know, and stuff like that. But I think there's also, like, a bit of healthy cynicism there, too. Like, there's a group of people that are just kind of like, well, we don't want to just get force-fed, whatever. Like, right now, because geek stuff is, for the past 5 years, has been what's selling. Right?
Yeah.
So it's huge. So now, like, of course, all the corporate people are involved and all the major studios. So there should be a little bit of cynicism from fandom because you don't want to just go with whatever they tell you is cool. But yeah, then there is that section that just wants to pick a fight with anybody. Like, if you look at different things like Gamergate from last year, well, it's still basically ongoing and things like that. Yeah. That's just people being, you know, like
dicks.
Negative dicks. Yeah. And it's like, unfortunately, that's still a portion of fandom. There are the negative dicks out there.
Yeah. It's also, too, you see with almost every casting for any movie.
Right,
now.
yeah. Somebody's saying, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, well, for me, the one that really surprised me was last year when they announced that Jon Bernthal was going to be the Punisher.
Yeah.
For me, I remember waiting that day, because it was a terrible day that I had, and then that information showed up on my computer screen, and it was like the heavens opened up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my God, I never thought of this before. Jon Bernthal is the Punisher. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then I see all these comments where people are like, no, this is terrible. And I'm like, what are you, crazy?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, that guy's the Punisher.
It was a good choice, yeah.
And he ended up being a fantastic choice.
He was a great choice. I think the only casting that has never really been disputed was Olivia in the new X-Men movie.
Olivia Munn as Psylocke.
Psylocke.
It's like, yeah, no, when you see that one shot when she's jumping down, it's like, yeah, that's Psylocke.
Yeah,
that's
and then she just runs around in a purple bathing suit. We're like, yeah, okay, well.
Yeah, well, that's basically what Psylocke was, just the purple bathing suit.
Yeah. So, with a nice little psychic knife. And,
yeah.
And everyone's like,
with a big katana blade. And
Yeah.
it's like, there we go. It's
So, like, everyone's like, yeah, that works. So,
yeah. It's good to see that Olivia Munn is, you know, getting out there.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, and representing the nerds.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because she kind of stepped away from it for a bit. It's like when she left Attack of the Show, she was trying to be like, it felt like she was disassociating herself from the nerd stuff.
The shame?
I wouldn't say it was shame. It was more of a fear of being typecast.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she was the host of a nerdy show. Let's put her in nerdy stuff. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do shitty films with Sarah Jessica Parker and things like that. And so she did that, but now she's come back to the nerd camp. It's good. You know.
I think, too, I think for all the actors now, they just see how much money and all this kind of, like you said, everything's exploded in the last, basically since Iron Man.
Yeah.
Right? Iron Man more or less was like the tipping point, and everything just kind of busted
That's right.
open.
Well, that's summer, because you had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, and Dark Knight.
Yeah.
All in the same summer. And
Right.
that was, like, of course, Iron Man and Dark Knight were huge.
Yeah. But Iron Man 2, it was a little bit out of left field, right? Because
nobody expected Iron Man to happen. Also because it was Marvel's first chance where they got to do it their way. Sort
Right.
of thing. And people had kind of been soured to the Marvel movies because of, like, what Sony did with Spider-Man 3 and, you know, Fox, Fantastic Four 2 had just come out, and then X-Men 3. All those films were just atrocious. They were terrible. And so when Iron Man came out, it was like, it was a breath of fresh air. It was refreshment. It was like, oh yeah, right. This is a superhero story.
Right. And it was also good, too, because there's, like, a lot of, like, civilians in my life. They tend to me, like, which one's Iron Man again? What does he do? Like, nobody, you know what I mean?
Well, because that's the thing. It's like, before that film, Iron Man was, like, I'd say probably a third-tier character. It's like the only...
Don't say that to his face, though.
Yeah. The only reason why people knew him in fandom was really because he was part of the quote-unquote big three of the Avengers.
Right.
Because the Avengers, because the big three, of course, in DC is, you know, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
The Trinity.
Yeah, the Trinity, as they say. And so creators had always taken care at Marvel of saying, well, Cap, Thor, and Iron Man are our Trinity of the Avengers. And, like, for the most part, people cared about... That was the only reason why people cared about him. And if you look back at the 90s, the stupidest things they did with Iron Man, they had him turn evil.
Yeah.
And then so then the Avengers went back in time and got a 17-year-old Tony Stark to defeat him. Oh, God, that was terrible stuff. And so there was a long period where nobody wanted to even touch Iron Man.
There was one storyline, I don't remember when this one was, but it was one where he wanted to go back to being Tony Stark, like have his secret identity, and he used satellites to like wipe out the Earth, basically, or like to wipe out the memory of their...
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah, that was like an annual. Yeah.
He's like, there you go, I flipped my satellites.
Yeah, he did all the satellites, and then he went to the Avengers and was like, I have to tell you guys something. I'm Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my God. And then Cap was like, wait a second, we knew this before. What did you do?
Yeah.
But it's funny because right now in the comics, they haven't revealed it yet, but Daredevil has done something to put his identity back in the bottle. Charles Soule the issue hasn't come out yet where Charles Soule explains that.
Yeah.
But right now he's done something so that nobody remembers that he's Matt Murdock.
Which is a shame in a way because it kind of follows run by Brubaker and Bendis.
Right.
Where he got revealed and...
Right, yeah, but then after Brubaker, there was the Andy Diggle run.
Yeah, no, I skipped that.
You were smart to do that. That was the worst.
The Shadowland.
Oh my God, Shadowland! It hurts me to think about it.
And then even the reveal too, like I'm a demon, and it's like, I was like, oh, okay.
It's like, oh, you've been possessed by the hand's favorite demon.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. And scene.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what are you reading these days, or what's getting you excited?
Okay, well, from like the Marvel DC stuff, I'd say the new Black Widow series that Mark Waid is writing.
I haven't had that.
Oh yeah, it's only the second issue came out this week. I haven't read it, but the first issue alone was amazing because it's just basically like the Black Widow and she's running through a S.H.I.E.L.D. base and everybody's chasing her and like basically she's stolen something from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And Chris Samney is the artist for it.
He's great.
Yeah, he's fantastic because he did Daredevil with Waid and everything like that. So she's running towards the window of this base, right? And you see her smash out of the window and it's like every panel is like pulling back and then you find out she's jumping out of the freaking helicarrier.
Oh.
Yeah. And so then the entire rest of the thing is S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, in the air, on the ground, trying to take her out. And one guy says it. It's like, oh my God, she's freaking like, it's like she's doing ballet. And it's like, it's amazing. She's like, she finds a way to take out every guy that's attacking her. And the end of the issue is the end of the chase. I'm like, oh my God, I just read a 22-page chase scene. I need to sit down. I'm tired. Oh my God.
You should have worn your Fitbit before.
Yeah, pretty much. It was fantastic. It was a thrill ride. And so I'm really looking forward to issue 2 on that. And then when you go over to Image right now, it's just fantastic. Like there's Deadly Class from Rick Remender.
Yeah, I want to start that one.
That is a good book. Yeah. You're basically a street kid in San Francisco in the 80s, finds his way into basically a secret school of assassins.
Yeah.
What's gone on so far has been pretty exciting, but right now the current story arc is like shit has just got real.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really good stuff. Another great one, Lazarus, written by Greg Rucka with art by Michael Lark.
Yeah.
That one takes place in the future. You know, there's like basically the wealthiest families in the world run everything. It's no longer countries or anything anymore. And the sad part is every issue you read, and then you read the back pages where Greg Rucka is talking about stuff that he's read in the news. It's so scary how we're not that far away from what's happening in Lazarus.
I know. But it's great, and it's classic Rucka too. Like lots of action, and like it's kind of a mystery too, so you don't really know what side people are on.
Right, yeah. And Rucka is like, he loves his research.
Yeah.
He's a research hound. We've actually gotten a chance to interview him a bunch of times, and I asked him about the amount of research for Lazarus, and he's like, it doesn't stop. It's like every day I have to read stuff about technology or about the economy or like, because he covers everything, right? So
good for him. It's a great book though.
Oh, it's a fantastic book.
And in terms of like, do you get exhausted trying to cover all this stuff, or are you trying to because you're covering like comic books, and then there's all the movies coming out, and then there's the cartoons on top of it, and then there's video games on top of it, and then the Lego stuff. And
well, that's the thing. It's like some weeks I can just barely get the stuff I need to get out. Like on our site, we have weekly columns, like stuff that comes out every week. We have our show. We try to get video stuff out on a semi-regular basis. Of course, I also have the Back Issue Bloodbath podcast, which, we do once a month and we record once a month. Yeah, the thing that's really upsetting for me is that I get like really cool indie stuff sent to me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, can you talk about this comic? Or can you talk about my album? Like, 'cause there's a lot of indie geek artists. Because I used to do this thing where it was called, and we still kind of do it on a regular basis, semi-regular basis on the show, the Geek Hard Music Club. Whereas if you're an indie geek musician, send us a song, we'll play it on the air, and we'll talk about it. These days, it's like, I get so much stuff that I'm just sort of like, I don't know if I can use it all, sort of thing. And I feel bad, because it's like, some of these guys are really good, it's just I can't get to the stuff. It's like, I have a chair in my house that I haven't used for the longest time, because that's the inbox.
Yeah.
It's just a stack of comics and DVDs and different things like that. It's sort of like, oh my God. And that's the physical stuff. All the stuff online that I get sent links to. It's like, oh my God.
At least the online stuff, you could just like turn the computer off, or you can walk away, right?
Right.
You put the laptop screen down, and then like, I'm out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, but at the same time, though, it's awesome to have so much cool stuff being sent your way on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And because, I'm my own boss with this, I get to choose what I talk about and what I don't. So if I don't like something, I don't have to talk about it. But then sometimes I do, because I had to talk about freaking Batman v Superman.
Yeah. Explain for people who don't know your feelings on Batman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Batman, I think is...
Before we get into the film. We'll get into the film, too.
Batman, I think, is the biggest bitch in comics. Because, like, I look at... Okay, yeah, his parents died. So did, like, almost every other superhero's parents, It's like you look at Spider-Man. He had a tough life, and he's still able to at least crack wise when he's in the suit, right?
Yeah.
But what really bothers me about Batman is that guy, like, you think back to college or high school, Batman's that guy at the party who'd be like sitting in the corner with like sketch pad drawing and he'd look all upset and brooding.
Yeah.
And a hot girl would walk up to him and go, "What are you drawing?" He's like, "It's shit. Don't even look at it. It's terrible." It's just like, and then like other girls would go like, what's he doing? And so all these girls would be attracted to this basically asshole who's got nothing on his plate, but he looks like he's got something, because he's like, "Oh no, forget it." And then on top of that, the ego of the guy.
Yeah.
Bat this, bat that.
Yeah.
And like, I hate the bullshit about the whole, that Bruce Wayne is the secret identity. It's like, screw you, man. Like, I don't need to hear that. It's like, the thing that's really annoying is that that as his Bruce Wayne persona, he has had sex with half the women in the world and probably has gonorrhea or something like that. But in his mind, it's like, well, that Batman doesn't. That's Bruce Wayne's life.
So Batman's Wang is
Batman's virtuous Wang.
Yeah. But Bruce Wayne
Bruce Wayne has syphilis. That's basically it. I hate Batman.
Okay.
Oddly enough, I like Gotham City, and I like a lot of the characters in Gotham City, which makes it very hard because I can't really read about them very often because I have to read Batman then.
But you got Gotham Central.
Gotham Central was great. I got to read that, and Batman would only make cameos. It was fantastic.
Let's switch gears then and keep going with Batman and go to Batman vs. Superman since you brought it up.
Right,
and this just got savagely like...
Oh, well, okay, well, here's the thing, okay. Going back to, I guess it was 2012 when Man of Steel came out. I think it was 2012, something like that. Maybe 2013. I can't remember exactly what year.
We're losing all kinds of time and... brain.
But that film was like, it had a beginning, middle, and end, but there was no hope to it. Like, the character, like Superman, who's supposed to be the beacon of hope, and he talks about it in the film, in Man of Steel.
The whole symbol thing.
Yeah, the symbol of hope and all that stuff. He's just an asshole for, like, pretty much the entire film. And then at the end, he decides, hey, let's keep this fight in the city and knock down all the buildings. People say, well, he didn't have a choice. It's like, okay, but he knocks down some of those buildings himself. It's like, I'm going to throw this on Zod, killing hundreds of thousands of people in the process. Yeah. And I remember at the time people were saying, oh, well, there wasn't as many people as you think and everything like that. Batman v Superman is based on the fact that half of Metropolis got killed in that fight.
Yeah.
Because the opening sequences, like I think the second or third scene is basically Bruce Wayne going, oh shit, my building's falling down and all of my people are dying.
Yeah. And I have syphilis, according to you.
Yes, well, he does. So, it's like, Batfleck has syphilis. Film at 11.
Yeah.
But
I hope film not at 11.
Yeah, and so Batman v Superman, it's a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of scenes.
Yeah.
No real story. I have a feeling that Zack Snyder went back and looked at his script for Sucker Punch and realized, I had all these great ideas for dream sequences that I didn't get to use. So I'm just going to cross out the name Baby Doll and put Batman there. Because Batman's having a dream like every 5 minutes in this film.
Yeah.
And the worst dream of all has to be when he's suddenly in like the desert in the 1930s in his Batman uniform, but then with a big like trench coat over top, and he's got a crew of like mercenary soldiers, and then suddenly one of them turns on him, and then suddenly there's all these Superman soldiers and parademons from the New Gods and everything, that whole from Dark Side and all that. And they're all just fighting Batman and killing Batman's crew of guys who we don't even know who the hell they are.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up, or you think he wakes up, and then suddenly the Flash is there going on about Lois Lane is the key. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, and then the thing is, where Marvel has been successful is that they've been able to get the non-nerds into the cinema.
Right.
And so they're invested now in this whole storyline and where this is all going, and they like this world. Whereas that sequence, for example, that just completely alienated, like, anyone, like, at least you and I had the cues, right? When we saw the Dark Side symbol.
Yeah, because otherwise people would be like, what are those flying, like, are those the flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz? What's going on,
Right? And none of it made sense. It was like, so it was like a 10-minute sequence in the middle. It just had, like...
And then it jumps to another, like the next scene is basically a tribute to a comic from the mid-'80s that even, some DC fans of today don't even remember, of the freaking Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
So it's sort of like it's all just kind of wedged in there, and nobody has any personality. And Lex Luthor is like a parody of, like, I felt like Woody Allen meets the Joker. That's kind of what... that's what Lex Luthor felt like.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yeah, it was all over. Like you said, it was just like all over the place, like a baby eating spaghetti.
Yeah. It was a mess. And like, well, if you look at the second weekend of the film, like, it's very obvious that people feel that same way because it had the largest drop off in years for a superhero film, and I think even like a major blockbuster.
Yeah.
So
it's just also a struggle too, because it's like they're trying to set up the whole Justice League with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm now slightly less interested in, like, I'm not really feeling it. Like, you guys got to get this right.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Figure this out. Like,
and Justice League is supposed to be next up.
Right. And that's the thing. I think they felt like they were almost like rushing a little bit. Like, they just wanted to cram in so much because, like, Marvel had all these movies by now, right?
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I think they're up to 15, 20 odd movies, right? And it's all plotted out and have had this great storyline. So we're like, no problem. We can catch up. We'll just do a 2.5-hour movie and everybody will be caught up.
Yeah, right. We'll just give them everything in one film. What about like a through line plot? We don't need that. Just introduce as many characters as you can. Go.
Yeah. And there was just, like you said, just random, like when Lois throws the kryptonite spear in the water and then she has to go back and get it.
Yeah.
And then Superman has to go and rescue her.
That entire film is based on the idea of Lois is an idiot.
Yeah.
Lois is an idiot and it's all her fault. Because it's like, if you look at all of the major problems in the film, they can all be traced back to, Lois, what are you doing? And it's sort of like, wow, you just ruined that character. Good for you, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
And then Wonder Woman is kind of like window dressing. I thought she did a great job, but she's like there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then it's just like, that was the only moment of levity. Is she with you? No. And that was it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, there isn't much women in it. There's... like the only moment of people of color is really just Perry White and the 3 seconds of Cyborg.
Yeah.
But
even his Perry White was just like this completely out to lunch.
Yeah.
I see a headline.
Yeah. It's just, repeatedly like, hey, where's that story about, the fundraiser?
Yeah.
And things like that.
I'll be in my office smoking my pipe.
It was just such a terrible, terrible movie. And it's like, it makes me go, man, you were smart to move it because Civil War is going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
Because even if the Russo brothers deliver just a mediocre film, it's going to be 1,000 times better than Batman v Superman.
And like I said, people are already all invested into this Marvel universe, right? So Marvel's been smart and bringing people along for every movie. So they're like, all right, we're in.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll do fine for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So,
a moment of silence for Batman v Superman.
Yeah, God. I'm glad I was not as invested in that film. I feel bad for, like, fanboys who are like, this is going to be the best movie ever. Because it's like, what do you got now? Really?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you go from here? It's like, I know there's talk of, like, a Batman solo film with Jeff Johns and Affleck writing the script. And I'm like, well, yeah, no, that'd be cool. But they don't got it on the slate yet. And look how many films they've got planned.
Yeah.
So
And they got, like you said, they got to get that Justice League out, right?
they got to get the Justice League out. They got to get the Shazam movie out because I feel like waiting until 2019, The Rock's going to be in a wheelchair by the time they get to that film.
But that's the Shazam. Instead of a little kid, it's just like him in a wheelchair. And then when he's Shazam,
well, because I know they said that he's going to play Black Adam, but I have a feeling now he's going to be like Shazam the Wizard.
that'd be awesome. And then that's it. And then he gets it's like Fast and Furious, right?
If you smell what Shazam is cooking.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Who were some of the other impressions you did?
I didn't really do The Rock. That's the first time I ever said anything like that. I
fight for that. That was a good one.
Okay, thanks, man. Thank you. I used to do a lot of Robert De Niro. Yeah, it's
That's really
are you
spot
talking
on.
to me? It's more of a visual thing, but then the Christopher Walken. I used to do a little bit of Christopher Walken. I can't really do it that well anymore. It's like it's been years since I've done it. These days, it's like my strongest impressions are like ones that nobody would ask for, like Grant Morrison.
Do it.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'm a big fan of looking at Superman. Superman has always been my hero. And
that's amazing.
I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we took like one of the greatest comic book creations of all time and paired it with one of the greatest comic book creators? Like if we made Ed Brubaker the new Superman, Brubaker, and like put him in like a Kryptonian night suit, He's like Brubaker night suit, the new Superman, and the way to beat him is you have to knock the fedora off his head.
That's amazing.
And so it's like, think of all like the wind-based villains that you could work with. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's spot on. He actually just did Wonder Woman for the that Earth 2.
Yeah. That was a big deal. The Dodsons did the art on that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to pick that up, but I've been liking that series.
Oh, yeah?
The Batman and the Superman. Have you read any of that stuff, or are you?
No. It's right now DC. I think the last thing I read was Batgirl, but then when I heard they're doing Rebirth, I'm like, oh god, another continuity change. Okay, I'm definitely not reading anything in DC for a while.
It's hard too because that's like. It's great, like you were talking about how there's all these crossovers now all the time.
Yeah.
And it's really great when a writer just stays on a book.
Right.
And can just build it.
And just tell the story.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Like, that's what, like, I enjoy over at Marvel. Like, you got Howard the Duck that Chip Zdarsky's writing, and you got, Captain America Sam Wilson that Nick Spencer's doing, and he's also doing Ant-Man. Like, those are really strong books, and they don't really venture out into other stuff. Like, they're just like, here's the story. And, like, that's what, and Miss Marvel as well. G. Willow Wilson doing the writing on that. Adrian Alfona doing the art. Adrian, I believe, is a local guy, too, actually. I think he lives in the area.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a TCAF, too. I think I saw his name, yeah.
And so it's like, those books, like, right now, I feel like the best books are, like, those second-tier heroes or like those changes in heroes, like right now Captain America, Sam Wilson, things like that, because the creators are getting to do their story. They don't have to be interrupted every 10 minutes and things like that. It's not like writing the Avengers right now, where the Avengers kind of has to tie in to, what's going on. Or like, actually, Iron Man's all right now. Iron Man, Bendis is writing that.
Yeah, it's been about 6 or 7 issues in for the first, because there's 2 books, but...
Yeah, the other one, International, just started,
Yeah, but yeah, Mary Jane showed up to it kind of random. But...
Yeah, I'm down with that, because it's like, I haven't, like, no offense to Dan Slott, but I really wish he wouldn't write Spider-Man anymore because I don't care.
Yes.
And so it's sort of like one of my favorite characters in the Spider-Man universe is Mary Jane. Yes, I do have a thing for redheads. And her being over in Iron Man is great because it's like, all right, a book I'm already picking up. One of my favorite characters has just been added. This is fantastic.
I was actually shocked because Bendis was talking about it. I can't remember where I read the interview, but he was talking about how he went over to the Spider-Man editorial office and he said, "Can I use Mary Jane?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're not using her. Go ahead."
Yeah, it's pretty much like Dan Slott kind of stepped away from her a while back.
Yeah, and so I was just like, how do you just leave a major character? It's like,
I know.
X-Men not using Storm or something like, yeah, okay.
But then, like, it's not uncommon. Like, if you think about, was it Karen Page? Mm-hmm. She went, like, she was, like, one of the biggest side characters in Daredevil for years. And then suddenly, by the time Frank Miller got on the book, she was an afterthought. And she didn't show up again until Frank Miller's second run when he decided to make her a freaking crack whore.
Yeah.
So
and then she died of AIDS.
Well, she didn't really die of AIDS.
Yeah.
No, she got killed by Bullseye.
That's right, actually.
That's right. The AIDS thing was actually fake.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
She was tricked by Mysterio. Little nerd knowledge for you there.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to Daredevil, I know every little facet.
How are you enjoying this series so far, the Netflix series?
Oh, the second season was everything I've wanted in a Daredevil. I know certain people have problems with, certain of the stereotypes and things, and I understand that. But being a fan of the original Frank Miller run, getting to see all those, toys in the sandbox played with, and, because you get the Hand, you get Elektra, you get the Punisher.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of stuff, and then the working back in of Wilson Fisk and all that sort of stuff. It was fantastic. I loved every second of it.
It was a good move on Marvel's part to go to Netflix, so they could do a little bit more violent. And,
doing the rated R characters.
And some of the cuss words and all that.
Yeah, that's right. Jessica Jones was fantastic. That was a great show, and I'm looking forward to Luke Cage. I'm looking forward to Iron Fist.
Iron Fist would be great because I enjoyed we're going back to Brubaker again, right? The Brubaker run with him and Fraction.
That's right. Him and Fraction and David Aja on art.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Great stuff.
But mind you, that whole run had the Mystical City and it had a lot of it's not very street based.
No, it's not. It's not. But that's the thing. If you actually look at a lot of the Iron Fist stuff, it's there'd be one or two issues where it would be we're street level heroes, and the next issue would be okay, I'm fighting a dragon on a mountain. So.
But I kind of like all that.
Me too.
All those elements are great. The Mystical City.
It's going to be the first. I have a feeling it's going to be the first Netflix series that won't have the street element to it.
Right.
I think there'll be touches on it, of course.
Yeah.
Because I think they will work in Luke Cage into it and do a Heroes for Hire thing at least by the end of it.
Yeah.
But
he had that dojo too for a little while, where he's helping at-risk kids.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that was the thing. From the 70s to the early 90s, every hero that lived in New York ended up helping at-risk kids at one point. Like Daredevil, Captain America, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. I think even the X-Men helped at-risk kids at one point.
I know.
So it's sort of that was all the rage.
Yeah. Today, there was a big announcement for Cloak and Dagger as well.
Right, yeah. No, I'm not, I haven't read a lot of Cloak and Dagger. I've only read, little bits and stuff like that. Mostly, guest appearances and things, because, of course, Cloak and Dagger in the early 90s, made a guest appearance every 10 seconds in a Spider-Man comic.
Yeah. They were really the only ones, he was the only one kind of keeping them around.
Pretty much, yeah. They're one of those, more... They have a solid cult fan base, like Moon Knight does.
Yeah, I'm a big Moon Knight.
But as a Moon Knight fan, you know how hard it is to keep a Moon Knight book on the shelves, and Cloak and Dagger's the same way. It's it's very hard to get. There's been attempts in the past few years. I think even at one point they were going to have Nick Spencer write a series, but I think it got canceled, or it was only a mini-series or whatever. And so it's very interesting. I think the key is that the reason why they went with those characters is because they wanted to do something on ABC's. It used to be ABC Family. Now I can't remember what it's called now, but
Freedom or Freeform,
something like that. Freeform, and it's that's their kind of family-based channel. Yeah, Cloak and Dagger works. Two teenagers who are trying to find their way in the world. That kind of
running away.
Exactly. You can't do the X-Men because Fox has all the rights to the X-Men, and that would be kind of your thing. You'd probably do something on the Family channel. Now it's okay, well we'll do Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, and Runaways is just a team, right? So
right.
You have to hire all these actors.
Yeah, whereas Cloak and Dagger's 2 people. So.
Yeah, we're done. That's it. What are you most excited for about what's coming out down the pipe? Because we're getting a bunch of stuff. We're getting all kinds of movies. Now even World of Warcraft has a film coming out.
Right, yeah, no, it's crazy. Of course, Civil War I'm excited about. I'm interested to see what the new Turtles film is like, just because so many people I've talked to hated the first one. Watched the trailer for the second one, and now they're invested. So it's sort of okay, now me, I've never been a huge Turtles guy. So I don't have a dog in this fight. But the amount of people that hated the first one, that are really excited for the second one, makes me go, okay, well, maybe they've... I'm watching the trailer, I'm yeah, it does look a little bit more interesting and more action-packed than that first movie. But we'll see. I heard Seamus is in it, so that's not a good sign in my opinion.
No, they're not selling it at that point. Are you surprised? You were just mentioning, Moon Knight and Cloak and Dagger, these books don't last, and... You and I kind of understand that. When the new Moon Knight just wrapped up, and now Jeff Lemire is going to be writing in one that's going to be coming out in April.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's Marvel's thing now. It's with the secondary characters, they go, okay, we're going to give a writer and artist 12 issues to tell a story, or sometimes 16. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to end that series, and then we're going to give them to somebody else. And they can pretty much take what they want from that previous series, but then take it in a new angle.
Right.
And it's like, well, if you look at that, a few years back, Bendis and Mayleaf, Alex Mayleaf, they did Moon Knight, and they had him in L.A. They had him. They were playing up more the eccentric millionaire portion.
Yeah.
And because he was talking to the three voices in his head, which were Captain America, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. You jump ahead, and you've got Warren Ellis, who went, okay, we're gonna put him in New York.
Yeah.
We're gonna make him more of like a detective, and we're gonna make the three personalities not people that he's talking to, but three separate facets of himself.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you're kind of taking cues from the last series, but you're doing something totally different. And then, as we know, Jeff Lemire, Jeff Lemire usually always writes more of like a heartfelt characters dealing with emotional turmoil. Usually there's not a lot of jokes in Lemire's stuff. It's usually very sad. People die a lot in Lemire's stuff.
There's a farm that shows up randomly.
Yeah. And it's like, it's great stuff, but it's going to be, it's going to be totally different from Warren Ellis. I think of all the books that are coming out that are going to be way different is going to be The Punisher. Because, last year Nathan Edmondson did a very military-based Punisher, where it's like, it was down and dirty, he was fighting crime in L.A., but he was dealing with a gang that was more like terrorist cell.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very military. There was a lot of soldier type elements to this. Becky Cloonan is going to be writing the new series. Now you got Steve Dillon back on art, which Steve Dillon has now kind of become the quintessential Punisher artist.
Yeah.
But, because he did the Ennis run, he did the Jason Aaron run.
Yeah.
But, like, Becky Cloonan is the last person I'd ever think to write the Punisher. Because you think, she did Gotham Academy.
I know.
And she did Southern Cross for Image, Both are more strong female-based. So it's like, it's just sort of like Becky Cloonan was like, I'm going to do something totally different and, try a character that I've never tried before. So I'm really excited to see what she does with it. Because she's a great writer. But this is totally out of her wheelhouse. So let's see what happens.
But I bring up the point of like just the shorter runs because I know like there's always this huge demand for diversity and stuff, but there's not always enough economics to support it because Batman will always sell out. You know what I mean?
Right.
All the bigger books will.
But then you also look at it, Marvel and DC, their pieces of the pie have diminished. Like, you look back at their sales as you said, like when Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
So, like, 2 years pass, and 2010 happens. And in 2010, comic sales are going up for the big two. Marvel's doing really well. DC's doing really well. And you look at it now, and they're beginning to diminish. Like, the 2014 sales are better than the 2015 sales. A lot of people are complaining about the restarting of books. But then there's others who are saying, well, it's good because, you get different creative teams. But then they're restarting books at a new number one with the exact same creative team just to have a new number one.
Yeah.
To try to attract more readers when really it's doing the opposite.
The jumping on point thing.
Yeah, the jumping on point is actually people jumping off. People going, oh, okay, well, this series is done. I don't have to pick this book up anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, they're coming out. They're going to do another. Wait till trade or something like that. And so
that's why I gave up with Wade's run on Daredevil.
Right, yeah. And the sad part is that as soon as he went to San Francisco, there was a couple okay stories, but it was nothing compared to the first run.
Right.
I think right now the really good stories are coming out of Image. Image is great. I think Dark Horse is doing good stuff. Valiant is doing some amazing stuff where it's like, because it's like there's some people who go, okay, yeah, Image is doing cool stuff, but I'm not interested in like sci-fi or horror or detective stories or, different things like that. Because they kind of do, Image does pretty much everything but superheroes. They do a couple of superhero stories, but it's mostly like other genres.
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead and freaking Lazarus and Deadly Class and all these Southern Bastards, stuff like that. So there's people who are like, well, Marvel and DC is the only place where I can get my superheroes. Valiant is doing some amazing work with their superhero stories. Like right now, the miniseries Faith, written by Jodie Hauser, is fantastic. And I had never read Harbinger. She's a character from Harbinger. The book is just, it's awesome because it's just about a woman who's a hero, who's trying to keep the secret identity thing going, trying to fight crime in LA. And her just big thing is she wants to be the best. She wants to be the best hero she can be. She's like the ultimate guardian of good, but she's also like a major fangirl and loves like Firefly and shit like that. So she's basically, the quote unquote one of us sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like books like that are fantastic coming out of Valiant. And it's like, that's where people should put their money, in my opinion.
You guys, I'm switching gears for a second. You guys have a show coming up, April 16th.
That's right, April 16th at Comedy Bar in Toronto. Geek Hard Live. We did the first one back in November of last year. This one we're doing, it's like a mix. It's a night of nerd comedy. basically. So we have Pat Thornton, great Canadian comedian. He was on Sunnyside last year, which was a really good show, won some Canadian Screen Awards, and then got canceled for I don't know what reason. He's going to be the headliner of the show. And we also have comic creator Chip Zdarsky.
He's very funny.
He's very funny. We're going to be doing an onstage interview with him. We're going to be talking about stuff. I've had the chance to interview him a couple of times, and he's always hilarious. And then
very zany. He's zany.
Yes, he is zany. It's like he's wacky. He's wild.
Yeah.
And then we've got a sketch troupe called Beggars Canyon opening the show. And then myself and my co-host, Mr. Green, are going to be hosting the night. So you're going to see us throughout that. We're going to be giving away a Anchor Bay Entertainment Canada prize pack that includes a Halloween 35th anniversary Blu-ray and some other stuff. And it's going to be tons of fun. And if anybody who's listened to our podcast, it's basically a live version of that. So.
And that's April 16th.
April 16th, 7 p.m., Comedy Bar. Admission's $10. You can get tickets at comedybar.ca. Or if you want more information, go to geekhardshow.com. And it's going to be great. You going to be there? You going to come check it out?
I have to put on pants though, right?
Well, here's the thing. Bring a pair of shorts with you. Come in pants.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom. Change to the relaxed shorts.
Yeah.
Go into the auditorium.
Look at you. You got a whole system worked out.
That's right. Well, I got to get people in the seats. That's what it goes down to.
You got a whole system. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We got nowhere else to go after that. We've covered your Batman hate. We've covered no pants and shorts. We've covered the live comedy show. We've covered Geek Hard. I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah. Now, Geek Hard, as I said, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern on realityradio101.com, and then also available as a podcast at geekhardshow.com, dorkshelf.com, and on iTunes. And then our other podcast, Back Issue Bloodbath, which is available at geekhardshow.com and on iTunes, hosted with Gavin Stevens, where we talk comics. So for anybody who's fans of all different types of nerddom, we got Geek Hard. And then people are I just want to focus on comics, we got Back Issue Bloodbath. So.
Yeah. And Gavin also is another very funny stand-up.
He was the headliner for our first Geek Hard live show, and he's played all over the world, and across Canada a bunch of times. Me and him have worked on a number of projects that we hope to get off the ground, all nerd based.
Project Ham Sandwich or something.
Yeah. Project Ham Sandwich. That's what we're calling it. Yes. Keep that under your hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can't drink at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So thank you, Andrew, for coming by and nerding it up with me and geeking it up with me.
Hey, no problem, man. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back. And
sure, yeah.
We'll see kind of where everything's at and what's happening and what kind of dirt you have.
Yeah, I come back in 6 months and it's everything fell apart.
Yeah.
Nobody came to the live show and that was the beginning of the end. Chip Zdarsky punched me in the face. No.
That would be kind of entertaining, I guess.
That would be entertaining, yes.
Yeah, it would be entertaining. Thank you.